Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Media Man. It's great to be here tonight for another stream. We're going to be talking, obviously, about Forest, but most importantly, we're going to be talking a little bit about today. Obviously, pre-season today, Forest versus Barnsley. And, me and Liam went to that game today, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our thoughts on that game. But have any of you lads got this on in the background? Because I can hear a bit of an echo. Has anyone got? I don't know what's going on. It might be my side, but
sounds like a bit of feedback.
And we're getting a bit of feedback, but I hope that everybody is all right anyway, because we're going to be obviously talking about Forest, as I say, and more importantly, we're going to be speaking about the game, and giving you kind of our verdict on it. Because although we shouldn't take it ridiculously seriously, because yes, it is pre-season, you do have to look at it and think about the Premier League and what we want to achieve this year. So Darren, good evening. I'm not expecting loads of people in tonight because it is really late night. Even a few goals will help the nerves. I don't think it will just help the nerves of the fans. I think it will help the players as well. And Liam, I want to go to you for this, because I've seen some criticism casted towards Awoniyi, but not just concern, because concern isn't criticism, right? But people are genuinely saying get him out already. Do you not think maybe just a goal is all he needs? Because for me, I think he just needs a bit of a confidence booster, because he just seems a bit nervous. And I think he's sometimes playing a bit too backwards. I think he needs to go into his role a bit more. Liam, what do you think about that?
Was you on about Awoniyi?
Awoniyi, yeah.
I don't think he's had a chance yet, has he?
No.
In the 3 games, I don't think he's actually had a chance to score. And I mean, I don't know if that's service from the midfield or it doesn't seem to be happening for us.
Well, the midfield is essentially non-existent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, we're looking at getting O'Brien in tomorrow or maybe Monday, but for me, I just don't know how to feel about it. I just think it's a bit worrying, isn't it? I mean, I trust the recruitment completely, but we're closing in on the 6th of August when we play our first game, and how much time are you going to give them to mold to the team? You know what I mean? I don't know what to do about it. I'm a little bit nervous, but
it speaks measures when our best 2 players on the pitch today were Alex Martin and Lyle Taylor.
Wow.
Yeah, and Lyle Taylor, to be fair to him, was really good. He was obviously attacking minded. Obviously, he's a striker, but making the right passes, he had good vision. I thought Loretta did okay as well.
On some pre-season, his hold-up plays a lot better,
which is good. But would it do well enough in the Prem? Is it too late for him to now kind of savour some form and potentially put himself as a substitute? Because I think people, obviously Awoniyi's thing today wasn't particularly impressive, but it's pre-season. Lads, I'm just going to remove you both temporarily because I'm getting a bit of feedback. So I'm just going to see if that works. I just use the invite link to just rejoin, but I'm getting a lot of feedback on my line. Just 1 second. But sorry, they'll be added back in just now. But yeah, Awoniyi, not necessarily bad. I just think he needs a bit of confidence boosting. But I think we need to get a striker kind of back up, because just today it was a little bit frustrating, because nobody wants to say that a £17.5 million striker is making you feel a bit nervous. He wasn't playing as a striker enough for me today. He was coming back too much, and I'm not slating anybody because this is pre-season, but questions need to be raised. And is this just a nervous thing? Is it a confidence thing? Or is there an issue with some of the players? I don't know what's going on, but it's tough, isn't it? But Lee, we spoke about Awoniyi earlier. How are you feeling about it all?
In terms of how he's playing, I can't really say because I've not seen him. I'll see him next week in Berlin. But slightly concerning he's not got off the mark. But is it down to him, or is it down to the lack of creativity and having no midfield? Because it doesn't just fall on him. If he's not getting the ball played through or the chances being played to him, then it's a bit difficult. Obviously, I wanted him to hit the ground running. So I am slightly concerned, but I'm not going to go, it's a £17 million flop like I'm seeing all online. I think it's a bit too soon to say that. It's pre-season. obviously you'd expect us to pummel a few teams, which we're not doing. So I suppose that's where the concerns are coming in. You know,
you'd say, wouldn't you, on paper last season when we beat them 3-0 at the City Ground, that was a lot. That was a worse team probably that we fielded in that 3-0 that we beat them at the City Ground, and we could have scored 9. Today, the only shot I can remember was Joe Walls.
Wow. I haven't, like I say, I hadn't seen it. I weren't there. So I can't comment on today's game, but everything I'm reading and seeing
it's not totally negative, is it? Because we didn't concede, which is a big thing. I can't remember them having a shot either, to be honest.
No.
So it's one of them, innit? I mean, what does everyone think in the comments?
Jamie, you've muted yourself, mate.
I don't know why. Basically, I thought I was talking and everything. Look at that. Hennessy put one over the bar, and that was it. I'm not concerned because, as people are saying, it is pre-season, and as Michael has said, sorry, it's not as Michael has said.
I think this next week we've got to push on. This next week or so, we've really got to try and play a bit of a stronger team, and even if it's against a nothing side, absolutely pummel someone. Just like you said, to start getting
it could be Notts County's bad day.
Just to get that momentum going into it, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the opposition is as such,
I just think, for me, I think the midfield situation now, we need, because it's okay getting linked with Aguilera and, and Franks and Lewis O'Brien's probably going to come in. But really, we need someone else because I think O'Brien's probably got Prem experience, hasn't he, from when Huddersfield were in the Prem? I don't know if he was there or not, but
through their academy, so it had been in and
I would
around.
imagine. So he's been in and around the Prem. He's got experience, but we need someone who's played at that top level, or a fairly decent level in the Premier League. And
I mean, according to Nottinghamshire Live or whoever it is, they've said we've put a bid in for Taverner. Now, I'm not saying he's not a decent player, but is he a Premiership quality player? Spending 10 million on him, I'm slightly underwhelmed when I feel we need a bit more, when we need to be aiming a bit more Premiership quality or people of that sort of ilk. We can't just keep picking everyone from the Championship and hope they're going to keep us up. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got a question for football with KB, because I know that you're next to Liam now. And this is your first appearance on the show. So hello and welcome. Now, I want to know who you really like to see on that pitch, because for me, I think Niakate stood out to me as a player that has done excellently. He really did do well in that midfield. A couple of times when he let the players get in front of him a bit too much, but other than that, I thought he was solid and quick, and he knows where to pass to. How did you feel? Who was your kind of standout player, if any, on that pitch today?
I think Nico Williams played really well today. I think if he can progress through pre-season and start whipping in some balls into the box, then he'll be a great player for Forest.
Well, I agree, and I think he did well. He got around players well. He got up the left-hand side of the pitch well, because obviously he was playing in the left position today, and he wasn't bad. Jurgen Klopp's right; he can play in the left position and he can do it to a high quality, but he's not yet configured to Steve Cooper's tactics, and it's his debut. It's understandable, but do you not think he needs to maybe put the ball in a little bit quicker? Because for me, he was just playing around with it too much. And to be honest, I know it's pre-season, you've got time to do that, and it won't massively affect you. But do you not think it would be nice to at least see a few crosses going in, and who knows, maybe a chance to score a goal?
Yeah, if he can get them quick crosses in the box and someone to get on the end of them, then we've got a good couple of goals in the Prem there.
Well, it's going to take time, and as I say, it's one of the first matches. I think some of these lads do need to gel together a little bit more. Obviously, some of them nearly all of them they've not played for a while. I thought McKenna was brilliant when he came on, absolutely solid. But you wouldn't expect anything less, because the consistency that he plays at is absolutely amazing. The standard that he plays at is amazing, and he never ever drops that standard. I've only seen McKenna kind of lose a ball once, and he was straight away back recovering it.
Didn't Niakate move into the middle?
I think he did towards the end.
Middle of the defence, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did move into the. I think he did well. Did he move into the middle or did he come off and then? Because I think he was replaced by.
Well, it's like Worrell kept dropping to the right, didn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously he fills that gap when the right back goes forward. But he was more to the right hand side than a central defender.
Well, there's some things to clear up as well, because I know that some people are worrying about the situation today. Injuries, because we saw Henderson come off and people thought it was just an orchestrated thing. It wasn't. Henderson's got a tight groin. So there's no need to panic. These things do happen. He's got a tight groin. Steve Cooper took him off as precaution. Liam, I don't know if in Football with KB, I don't know if you saw this, but when you were watching him make a kick, he looked really uncomfortable. It just looked like there wasn't a lot of power in it. It looked like he was in a bit of pain, and I thought, maybe he's got a hamstring or a hip or probably, a foot problem. Maybe he's gone over on his ankle or something. And then people saying that Richards has broken his leg. Brandon, he hasn't broken his leg.
Just got a knock.
He's got a knock on his leg. I think he's on his knee.
Apparently.
Yeah, Paul Taylor said, I think he's the Athletic. He said that it was literally a knock, and Steve Cooper's confirmed this. So I wouldn't worry too much. I think it spreads through Twitter like wildfire. All these rumours of, they've broken the leg, or he's super injured, or he's going to be out for months. It's just not true. And Steve Cooper has confirmed it to Paul Taylor. They've had knocks, both of them, but as a precaution, because obviously it's not long to the start of the season, and the likes of Ryan Yates is out, so you don't want to be taking any risks with any other positions. They had to just take him off. So, and yeah, as Keith said, he hasn't broken his leg. It was just an angry Reading fan making stuff up. So, does anything surprise you there? Hello, Big Mister. I hope you're doing well. And hello, Richo. Hope you're doing well. I've not seen you in a while. But all in all, 0-0. Some of the younger lads got a chance to go out there. I thought Dale Taylor played fairly well when he came on. He was solid. And he did some good skill around that right hand side of the 6-yard box. So it wasn't bad, but there was no goals in it, and that really frustrated me. I think Larea did quite well, getting down the wing a little bit and trying to move it into the box, but even then, still not quite right. But as Nick has rightly said, it is pre-season, and we do need to chill a little bit. Because you do tend to overthink, because when you've got the likes of Newcastle to come up against, you're worried, aren't you? Because you want to see us get off to a good start. But pre-season, you basically put on 3 different teams, and they're all mixed up. So I'm not too worried. Things happen, and to be honest, I've spent a good day with friends and people that I've never met before, such as yourself, Liam, and also as I've never met in person. So just have a good day out with everybody, and it was fun. But it didn't yield any goals, which is gutting. So looking at that, can we all argue that midfield is the position that we really need to get players in? Really, I think we need that anyway. Not just to
we need creativity. We need some strength and depth in midfield. Seriously,
we need another striker though as well.
Yeah,
because if he's not firing, we need someone on the pitch that will.
We need another goal scorer. We've got no choice.
So what striking options are you guys looking at, do you think? Are we going to use the other loan option for a Premier League loan, or are we going to buy someone?
No, we need to buy someone, I think.
Who would you have?
If money isn't a problem, if Marinakis is, willing to back him, then why take the chance and just put all your money on one striker, like edge your bets on Awoniyi? Not that he's going to fail or anything, I don't think that. But to take the pressure off him, so it's not all on his shoulders, because maybe that might be part of the problem, that he's feeling, it's all on me. I need to show up and do everything. I don't know. You've seen him. I've not seen him play yet. So
it's difficult, isn't it? And Ez is really good as well, because he didn't get to do his Awoniyi chant. So I'm even more gutted for Ez, to be honest. But you know what? These things happen. And I'm really not too worried, because as Darren said here, we've got Surridge. That's the wrong comment. We've got Surridge coming back hopefully soon from his groin surgery and his recovery. So, and Liam, you mentioned today that you thought Davis would have suited us on a day like this. A bit of physicality, which I think Awoniyi lacked, because for me, I think, did you see him? But it looked like he was just running into players after he lost the ball, and it just seemed a bit like he didn't know what he was doing at times. So do you think Davis would have been the right catalyst for a game like this, Leo?
Well, this is where people talk about his goals. He doesn't just bring goals. He does the little intricate things where he holds up the ball and he passes off, and then he shows again for the run. Even if it doesn't lead to an assist or a finish, he still does that part of play what goes unnoticed. Like the best way I'd say it is Lionel Messi. He's not Lionel Messi, obviously, but what you don't pick up on TV would be the movement and the space that he finds off the ball.
But isn't
which
Awoniyi a big lad? You know, isn't he supposed to be holding the ball up? You know what I mean? He's supposed to be a bit of a unit. Surely he's got the strength to sort of hold it up. I mean, like I say, I've not seen him, so I'm just going on what attributes I can sort of pick from seeing a picture of him, really.
Yeah. I don't even think it's an ability issue, because I think if you look at it, he's not just had one good season. Do you know what I mean? He's had consistent seasons. You know, he's been at places like Liverpool.
Twitter, though, isn't it? Like, I'm not saying they're right, because I don't think they are, but
he doesn't deserve it, because I think if you're going to look at games like, okay, you know, teams that we should be beating, yes. Teams that perhaps he should be scoring against, yes. But, you know, it's one of those things where people have got to realise, like, he needs confidence. You know, he's moved to a brand new country to him. I mean, obviously he did play at Liverpool, yes, but he's not played with Forest. You know, he doesn't know any of the lads pretty much. He might know Near Carty from playing against him, but he doesn't really know anybody. You know, and as Bet MMA says, he hardly really touched it today. But maybe if he has the right midfielders there to put the delivery into him, you know, it'll be fine. I think he needs a confidence booster, and I think he's going to need a goal or two to get that before it really sets him off. But he's nervous. You know, he's moved from Germany, and it's a tough league to move into. It's his dream. He's under pressure. Like, it's hard, you know.
What do you think about our opposition so far, though? I mean,
what in terms of pre-season ones?
Yeah. So if you look at Man United's pre-season, they're playing top teams. Whereas
top teams that are pitching. Are pitching. I know what you're saying, because we are playing lower league teams, obviously.
But if he's feeling the pressure now, Jay, this is why we need.
That's what I mean.
Someone who's potentially another goal scorer. Because if he's feeling it now, we need to take the pressure off him a bit.
But maybe
the money's there. We can't dispute that. It is. So.
Well, didn't he say he would spend up to 200 million? Well, another 40 million of what they earned last season. I might be wrong on that, but I saw that somewhere. If needs be, they'd put another 40 million in to get the right transfers.
But you know what?
At the start of last season, Jed Spence wasn't whipping balls in quick enough. And then how did his season go?
It takes time, but this is... And me and Lee, we did a podcast not long ago, and we said it's a massive gamble when you buy players, as it is. You could buy another Premier League standard player, and it's still a gamble. But, you know, when you're going over to different leagues, it's a massive gamble. But I think the problem with our fan base is they're looking at this pre-season and going, oh, this is ridiculous. It's crazy how we're not winning.
4 goals, though, in the Premiership, can you? You're going, if you don't score goals, you're down. So that's simple.
But of course, you're going down, of course. And if, you know, obviously...
It don't matter if your defence is great, because it only takes 1 goal. If you're not scoring, that's it. Now, I want him to do well. I really want him to do well. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping it's nothing.
But equally, it's going to take time for us to get a midfielder that can give him the right delivery. In my view, I don't know if you saw this today, but I thought Joe Worrell was playing it down the middle quite a lot, which I wasn't too sure about. Like, you know, I wasn't really too sure why that was happening. Because, to be honest, I thought if you play it into, you know, I mean, I was a bit kind of umming and ahhing about Biancone, to be honest, whether he should be putting the crosses in. But until they can play, until Nico Williams and Biancone learn to put a good cross in, you know, and work within that style that Steve Cooper likes, you can't. I think playing it into the middle is probably the best thing in pre-season, because they haven't really adjusted to that yet.
Williams was on the left, weren't he, today?
Yeah. And do you know what, though?
On the right. Not that he can't play left, because he clearly can.
It's his awkward foot, though, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, it's his awkward foot. I think people are being too quick to cast judgment on the players, you know. Debuts had, Young players played well considering, giving people a run out, and you weren't in front of a great crowd, you were for Forest. There was that one guy that just didn't shut up the whole time. He was
it's
hilarious.
All that excitement, though, isn't it, Jay? We've broke record, like transfer records, so people are expecting something for the money, aren't they? They're expecting an immediate impact, don't they?
But players will only play as well as their supporters. Do you know what I mean? You can't expect a player to go out there and proper, enjoy himself and score loads of goals if the fans are slating him on Twitter, because, even if that player doesn't have Twitter, they're going to be looking and people are going to be saying things to them.
But should he be feeling that much pressure in pre-season?
Of course they should. Because they don't see it as much as Steve Cooper probably says to him, this is a training game and it's pre-season. He's also saying, but this is also an opportunity to show me how good you really are. If you're a £17.5 million player, or if you just graduated from the academy, he's saying we've got a high standard to play at because we are Premier League now. He's reminding them we're playing Newcastle.
We haven't played high standard at all, have we? We've not even got
that's
going.
What I mean. That's the worrying thing.
And that's what it is. I know it's been a mishmash of players, but I think every time in the first half, it's been a fairly decent side that's been out that should pummel anyone we've played. And that's what the worrying aspect is. Yeah, they've not exactly conceded many in the first half. Only, I think, the one to Coventry. But, in the first half with the potential first-team players in. But they're not exactly creating anything either, are they?
Do you think we can judge on, and Talk Forest TV makes a really good point. We've had to build a new side completely. They're not fully moulded together because some of the players don't really have that many friends in the squad. Like Awoniyi doesn't really know any of the lads in that squad, and Niakate, not really that many either. Biancone obviously had the links with Panzo, but there's not.
Football should come natural. Yes, okay, there's going to be misplaced passes and this, that, the other, but
it's about work. But it's a thing, though.
To run or how to hold the ball up or how to move.
No, I agree, but football isn't just
Oh, he's gone. No,
very laggy.
Yeah, no, it's surely they can still read where someone's going to run, even if you don't really know them. Within a few minutes, you get to know. You see the runs they start to make and the movement they make. I don't know. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just slightly concerned. That's all.
Well, you got to look at these pre-seasons and be a bit realistic about it, haven't you? Yeah. We've played Coventry that were bang average last season, and then we've played a Burton Albion side, which is League One, and then we've played today another subpar team where last season we were scoring goals past them for fun.
But equally,
when in pre-season you start looking at it and worrying, like
I know
it is pre-season, and that's always going to be the
same. In the
Prem,
you can't afford to lose 7 games in a row, can you? At the start of the season, in the Championship, you've still got 38. Well, 39 games, haven't you? In the Prem, 7 games are gone. That's quite a chunk of your, season. If you lose 7 in a row, we need to settle a bit quicker, don't we?
And I mean, we've played 3 games against 3 probably nowhere near our level, and we scored 2 goals.
That's what I mean. Under 23 should be challenging these sides. You know what I mean? They should be giving.
Do you lads think that games like Valencia, Union Berlin, because that is a big game, Union Berlin, they play in the Europa Conference or Europa League. But do you not think that those games will really show? Do you not think potentially the team lowered its standard? Because I think we saw that even last season. Because, even when we played Barnsley at home, and we won 3-0, I still think we lowered our standard to Barnsley. Do you not think perhaps there's a case of the team not moulding together fully and also lowering their standard to the lower team? Because you see it in football all the time.
We also scored 3 goals in the first half against them before we switched off. We hadn't registered a proper shot today. But
that is with a team that had been playing together for 6 or 7 months, week in, week out.
We've got Hertha Berlin. Derby beat them today. So if we can't hammer them, there's problems. I'm not being funny, but you know what I mean. I think it's too early to say right now, but obviously, I don't know if all this chopping and changes are open. I know why you do it, but there's got to come a point in these pre-season with at least 2 or 3 games to go where he plays his first 11 and gets the fitness up and the match sharpness up.
I can imagine for the changing today, like the massive changes they made. I think the heat may have played a part in that because it's a one-off. You know, it's a big heat wave, and you're not going to play. You're not going to be too dangerous if you're playing players in a heat like, because it was really warm, and obviously if you're running around in full socks and whatever. Not that in any way is an excuse for the result. Obviously, we're a week away from playing a European side that is acclaimed. It's a good side. They've got a great atmosphere, and they've got a really good set of fans. And they've also got a really good team around them, like Awoniyi played with them. But you need to look at perhaps a team like Union Berlin if you want to look at how you can make Awoniyi better, because perhaps that's what Cooper's going to go and do when he's there. Not just watching the game, he's going to be watching Union Berlin and saying, do you know what? What are their midfielders like? What's their personality and characteristics like? Because maybe you don't need a Prem midfielder to make Awoniyi great. You just need a midfielder that suits his kind of the way he plays football. But we don't build the squad around Awoniyi, do we? We build it around everything else. And
He's
just
clearly not a bad player if he can score that amount of goals that he scored last season. So there's obviously something amiss, isn't there? Like you say, he might just be taking a bit of time to adjust and try and find his feet. It's a different game, isn't it?
I think it's delivery, though, because let's be honest, you've got Cafu and Colback into midfield. I have no problem with that. I think Colback made good tackles, but he was just pushing people over for fun. He was mispassing. Cafu, I thought he played okay, but even then, even he was mispassing. Do you know what I mean? I just thought, I know you've had a bit of time off, but there's got to be some better quality. And if you think about it, if Ryan Yates isn't here for Newcastle, which is likely, you've got Cafu or Colback to make up for them. And from that game, that would be quite worrying, because in the Premier League, you haven't got an opportunity for a player to get past you or make a mockery of your midfield, because that's it. They'll tear your defence apart and that'll be it. And it's good that we've got a good defence to rely on. But as you said earlier, Lee, if you're relying on your defence to save you every game because you're not getting goals or making any chances, then what's the point? You're just sitting back all the time.
About the midfield, about just keep. Now, O'Brien, I'm happy with. He is a quality player. It's like if we bring Taverner in and someone else of a similar standard, we need something a bit better quality than that. Not that Taverner's a bad player. I'm not slagging him off. I just don't know if he's Premiership quality.
Do you know what though, Lee? And I don't want to say this because I spoke about Morgan Gibbs-White and said I wouldn't pay 30 million for him, and I still don't want to, right? And I'm off that. I think now we're going to have to spend. I think realistically, we're going to have to spend 30 million pounds on a midfielder.
I think he'll be a good player for us, Gibbs-White. We need that.
I think he would.
Spark, but
I don't think we should pay 30 million for him.
I think we're going to have to spend more than we wanted to spend, and it's that simple.
It's the uncomfortable truth that unfortunately we're going to have to spend 35 million max, potentially even 40 million on a quality midfielder that's going to help us. And then we're going to need O'Brien and I would say Garner as well for that midfield, because if we're being honest, we can't rely on Ryan Yates to play that 6 role all season, can we?
I think we've shown in these 3 games how much we actually need Garner to do them intricate little passes in the middle. We are missing him, and you'll think back to last season of how many playmakers we had in the team. And
we need a midfield.
I think Garner was the glue in the middle.
But we were having that debate. We were having that debate the other day about Ramsey or Fabregas, and do you know what? And Ben, you've mentioned it in the chat now, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want Ramsey. I don't. After watching today, I've thought to myself, we need a player that is 24, 25. He's got 6 or 7 years experience. You might take him, but he's been out of fitness. He's 31 now, and as much as I agree, and I'm somewhere in my mind, I want him. After watching today, I'm thinking we just need someone that's gonna run right in that midfield. He's got experience. He's going to work alongside O'Brien and Garner, or one or the other.
So we need a Remember a big FD ball winner in that middle. Don't get me wrong, we've got Yates, but if someone's going to sit back and stop us getting overrun, that's what we need. Someone of that sort of ilk, like the Vieira type.
Bring Guy Moose.
Yates isn't enough.
And then you've got these other players to go attacking, aren't you?
Yates isn't enough, unfortunately, in that. And, if he's got an injury like that, we can't rely on Colback and Cafu. We can't. I love both of those players because they're passionate and they care. But, in a game like that with Colback today, where he was just basically shoving people over in the end, you can't do that in the Prem. You won't get away with it. You'll get carded, you'll get red carded, and we'll go down to 10 men and get smashed 6-0. You can't do that. And for me, that's concerning. But, and I will say this, we've got time till transfer deadline day. We've got time to sign midfielders. I don't think Aguilera is enough because, you know, apparently he's done his medical and he's going to be announced soon or whatever.
He's an 18-year-old, isn't he?
But believe me, he's like one of the best midfielders in his respective league. He's got really good stats. But he's going to be loaned back
straight into the Premiership.
But he's going to be loaned back. He's going to be loaned back to his club to get minutes before the World Cup, and we're not going to see him till next season.
Oh well, he's just
so what's the point?
Future then, isn't he?
He's one for next season.
I understand that, but we need midfielders and attacking support now, don't we?
We need someone. And you know what? We're going to have to accept there's going to be a big wage bill. We're going to have to accept you're going to spend 35 million on a midfielder. And to answer your question, guys, I know people are asking about Aguilera, but the reports I've seen are saying that he's going to go, he's going to go on loan until January. But even then, that's 6 months of not having a player that perhaps you might need. We need a midfielder that's actually going to be on that pitch every game, you know, not just in January. But Liam, I want to ask you this question now. Realistically,
go on.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the question. He sent him off to go and get him a beer now. I want to ask you the question. Do you think we're going to have to spend 35 to 40 million on a midfielder and just suck it up? That's how we're going to have to do it?
I think we need 2 midfielders.
Oh, no, I think we need 3.
Even if one of them includes Garner, but you need a CDM and then you need a competent attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
But why today was he playing Johnson on the opposite side to Williams? Like, sure, I thought for Wales. I don't know, mate. I thought for Wales that they play off each other on the quality. So I'll just be back in 1 minute. I'm going to mute my mic.
It's all right, mate. Yeah, no.
For me, I'd go as far as to say, if we sign Garner, we sign O'Brien, I'd say we still need potentially 1 more in the centre. So we've got 4 with Yates, and obviously we've got a bit of squad depth with Colback and Cafu. 2 number 10s. I would pick up O'Hare as a squad player, as a backup for if you get Gibbs White, because I think O'Hare could do a job. You know, as a cheap squad player. We need some depth, don't we? We haven't got it. We've got no creativity or nothing. We need a winger.
Yeah.
Striker. I like Cornick. I think he's probably a bargain from what I've read about him.
I think he's going to Everton, isn't he? I know that Everton are making moves for him.
It's like everyone we're interested in, Everton's in. They like the new Derby, aren't they? Derby always used to do that. So, I don't know.
Do you know what? It's one of them things. We're gonna have to deal with it. Players that because we've got a good recruitment team, and other clubs know that, so they're going to see the quality that we want.
Cooper, but something don't quite feel right. Even I watched the after-match analysis with Sarah Clapson, and she said Cooper said it's moving a bit too slow for his liking in terms of signing midfielders and stuff. But
equally, it's not easy when you've got clubs. And we can say what we want about Everton because I think they might be poor next year, but they are challenged. But they're an established football team that's never been relegated from the Prem. People want that job security, if you like, and they want Prem football, you know. And players have been picked from Everton to go to bigger teams than them. They want that.
I genuinely think Everton will go.
But even then, though, Lee, if you're a player and you see Everton offer double the wage money and they're going to bid more than Forest. That's it. And that's the challenge we face as a club.
I think we're just going to have to bite the bullet and spend a bit of money on some quality because it's quality that we need, isn't it?
And it's such a hard thing to think about.
It's not easy at all. It's not
because nobody wants to spend 40 million. I don't want to spend 40 million on a midfielder because I think that's crazy. But you know what?
So if we were in a position where we could afford to do that.
I think Harry Winks could be a good idea. I think Brandon's mentioned Harry Winks.
Like say that Sanderberg, if we get him.
But even then, Sheffield fans said he was inconsistent. We don't need an inconsistent Championship player.
He's a beast, though, isn't he, in that middle?
Or was that just the playoff semi-final second leg?
You
know what I'm saying, though?
He's got experience in the Prem, though, hasn't he?
Do you know, I hate having this conversation because
it's a tough one. Yeah, but we can't shy away from it, can you? We've got to be realistic at the same time.
Because this could be the key to us being successful.
I could be wrong. I don't think Tavernier's the kind of player we need. I think we're trying to do. It feels like we're doing the midfield on the cheap, and it's worrying me slightly. I know 10 million isn't cheap. We would have said, "Blooming it!" Like,
but in Prem standards, it's not.
But this is the Premiership we're talking about. We're not in the Championship no more. We
Well,
need some quality.
Well, Football with KB. Let me ask you a question, because I know that you went to the match today, but not just that, but you've watched Forest over time. Any midfielders that you would have in this squad? And also, do you think that midfield is literally all we need to get this kicked off?
I think if we could find a player that could hold the ball like Zinchenko could, but was just consistent and not as inconsistent as Zinc was, then he could be a really good player to sign.
So you think Zinchenko maybe? Is that what you?
Yeah, I think Zinchenko was a good player for Forest. I think he was just inconsistent.
Do you know what? After a game like today, I mean, we've said that he's not consistent enough, and that's right. But it almost seems like a day when we needed Zinchenko in that midfield.
That'd be your Gibbs White then, wouldn't it?
But it's the price. It's the ridiculous price, and I hate that.
I think it might get to a point where we ain't got a choice. It's either buy him or we're going to be in the, you know what I mean? We'll be in the mire a little bit, or get someone who's of similar quality at least.
Well, Lewis says get Davis in the number 10 role. We've spoke about Davis potentially as a cam before, because we spoke about it the other day, didn't we, with David?
We did.
Obviously, David now very popular on my channel. But we've spoken about Davis as a cam, but the issue is I just don't think he's got the energy to do that. Yeah. I don't think he could last a full half in that role.
He's explosive, isn't it? He's an explosive player, and he uses his energy on several runs, doesn't he? And then
but how long can you do that for? That's my concern.
Because he's explosive, it takes it out of him.
If you could have a bit of Gibbs White, if you could have a bit of Davis, if you could have a bit of Zinchenko and a bit of Garner all in a player, that would be perfect. And I'd pay any money for that. I'd pay any money for it.
If Zinchenko could shoot and score more goals, he would be a top Premier League player. Because his work rate is next to none.
And that's why he's not, because he's just his decision making and his finishing just isn't there. And it's unfortunate because on his day he could be unplayable.
I think it was Barnsley last season, wasn't it? He should have had a hat-trick in the first half.
Well, we've seen a few sitters he missed, didn't we? And that was, I think that frustrated Cooper, to be fair. That's why he probably hadn't signed him. That inconsistency.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to take away from today, but on a good note, and I thought I'd put this little promo out now because I didn't earlier. I thought I'd mention we've got a stream sponsor now and a video sponsor, which is Remedy Beast. They do CBD products, and I've got my own discount code as well. So for anybody interested, you can message me about it. Good company, well acclaimed as well, and they do a lot of CBD products, which will obviously help with your joints and things like that. And I know, Lee, your joints are getting on a little bit, so maybe this one's for you.
If they'd like me to try it and verify how good it is, then my elbow could do with some of that.
This is it. And if Lee thinks it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for the rest of you. So make sure that you have a little look at Remedy Beast, because they are a really, really good company. So that's just a little bit of a sponsor ad for them. But yeah, guys, if you can subscribe, we're on 773 subscribers. It'd be great to hit 780 by the stream, or maybe even 790, because I'm putting in a lot of hours into this at the moment, even hours I don't really have, because I'm looking at taking on a team to coach. We're going to go Steve Cooper style, but I'm taking on my own team soon, so I've been working hard at that and getting my DBS done in it and stuff. But at the moment I've got to come home and do streaming and edit videos, and I'm making a vlog on Monday at 12:30 in the afternoon. So, and Liam, you're cameoed in that, so enjoy that one. And we'll be talking a little bit about the fact that he made us come and sit with him in front of a post. But
you had the best view of the game by the looks of things, because you didn't miss out.
Oh, we did, and it made me laugh so much how people were frustrated about it on Twitter. That guy, I just don't understand it. But
I know, a little bit of a joke, and he's lost his head.
He's lost his head completely, bless him. But he's doing his thing.
Even wrote a tweet that didn't tag you in it. That's how much he'd lost his head over it.
He wrote, he's been writing threads about me and everything on his personal Twitter, but you know what? Whatever.
Laugh at him.
Oh, no, we had a laugh at him.
Who cares? Laugh at his expense if it's that easy to wind up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Talking about today, Nick says this: 3 wins and 1 draw last pre-season, then the worst start in 108 years.
I'm hoping it's a ploy from Cooper to make us look really bad, and then we just go and romp the league. We just shock everyone. Like, look really poor, so everyone misjudges us, and then we just absolutely smash Newcastle. Might be a clever tactic, this. I'm hoping.
So, obviously, potentially, we've seen it in the past. He seems to look fairly comfortable, but he knows what, and he'll say it in interviews, like he did with David Jackson not long ago after that, after the Burton game, I think it was. It's okay. Pre-season,
we're going to have to leave this now because my missus is pushing food in my face. So.
Oh, he's got food. Hey,
cheers for having me on. And Keenan,
no worries.
Cheers, guys.
He's just made his YouTube Football with KB. So if everyone could subscribe to that, would be great. He's going to be at a lot of away games with me next season and home games. So
awesome. Well, listen, please, everybody, you can see it in his name tag, Football with KB, and also Standout's away days. Subscribe to them both.
400.
Get Stand-Up's away days to 400, and let's get Football with KB. I don't know how many subscribers you're on, mate, but let's get you more. Let's get you more because you're going to do this, and it's going to be great. So good luck on your vlogging journey. Anything you need and any help you need or anything, just give us a shout. We're always happy to help you and come, have you on the stream. So enjoy your food, lads. It's been great to have you.
See you,
right, guys.
You're going to Berlin, aren't you, Liam?
Pardon?
You're going to Berlin, aren't you?
I haven't sorted it yet, but I was looking to.
Let us know if you need anything, mate.
It's just getting there, really.
Yeah, obviously. It's not easy.
As we've discovered, yeah. Right.
See you later, guys.
See ya.
Easy.
Right.
Are you there, Jamie? Hello. Right, guys. Obviously, he's back. He is back. Right.
I don't know. It's my internet tonight. It's just, I rushed home tonight.
Tell your mum to pay the bill.
Oh, honestly, I feel like it's been took out of me now. Ez took me for a coffee.
Let's have a look at some of the comments, Jamie. How people are feeling after today's game. Like, I don't know if people have already commented, but how they feel, how they think the pre-season has gone or how it should have gone. And how they feel
people, let us know how you're feeling about today.
How you feeling about Awoniyi? Like, because obviously I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm slightly nervous. I think he could be a cracking player. He's just got to get off the mark, can't it? Anything.
He needs a goal or two.
Yeah.
He needs a goal or two. But do you know what? I think he's going to do really well. It's just going to take time. But it's like, equally have to balance that up with how much time do we have for him to get off the mark?
Under 3 weeks, if you want to be realistic. That's till the first game. We need to be in top shape by then.
I've got all hope in it. I think Lewis O'Brien will come into the squad and make a change. He's attacking minded.
Yeah.
And
that's all it might take is a few players in, and it changes the whole atmosphere of the team. And
things need to improve, but arguably it's pre-season, and I get that. And as Tim Murphy has said, and rightfully said, he needs service.
Yeah, he does.
And currently, Cafu and Colback aren't going to do that. If Joe Worrell needs to go into the midfield to make a pass down the middle, that's concerning. But that's because you've got 2 defensive midfielders playing.
Do you know what? I would even put Nia Carty as a defensive midfielder because he can run and pass the ball and cook at the back. If I had to, like if things were that bad. You know what I mean? With his pace and everything. But I don't know. The biggest test will come against Berlin on Saturday.
It will.
That'll be a proper test. None of this Coventry and all that where we're playing half at squad for 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Should be a first 11, near as close to a first 11 as we can, and give him, I don't know, 60, 70 minutes. Give him a proper test.
Well, it's going to be, for Awoniyi, obviously, playing against his former club.
You think he'd have something to prove, wouldn't you, then?
You would. But, arguably as well, Cooper's going to look at that team and go, which players did he play with last season? Maybe not look to buy them, but he's going to look in the Prem and he's going to look in the Championship and other leagues and he's going to go, what does Awoniyi need in a midfielder? Because, of course, if Awoniyi gets off the mark, it's going to help the rest of the team. And they need midfielders that are going to create in the way that he plays, because every striker has one characteristic, don't they?
I think we've got to pick up players that are the standard of Niakate, because I think Niakate is going to be an amazing player. I really do think he's going to be quality. So people that are of that ilk, in terms, I'm not on about price tag, I'm just on about the quality of the actual player, how they can be. I think that's
he's already smashing it.
To look at if we're not prepared to spend, I don't know, 30 million on a central midfielder and 30 million on an attacking midfielder, we need to be picking up absolute ballers at a good price, which is easier said than done.
Well, and this is what Trevor says. Trevor Francis Traxxas. I love that name still.
I try to be realistic. I am optimistic, but it's just slightly concerning.
I do, but Trevor, I do think there is a level of realism in what I'm saying, because I'm not saying that everything's going to be fine and I'm just ignoring it. I'm being realistic in what I'm saying, that, of course you've got to be optimistic, you've got to be ambitious, and you've got to be realistic, and I like the fact that I think we complement each other in that way, Lee, because, we're both optimistic. I think, Dor will say you're a bit more.
The matter is, though, Jay, you've got a bit more on me because you've seen it firsthand. I've not seen them yet. I've not managed to get there yet, but I will see on Saturday. And like I say, I think Saturday will be a proper test where Cooper will actually take it really seriously, even more so than these others.
I've not been to any of these pre-seasons. I've not even had the chance to watch them when it's not a highlight.
No,
so
streams.
And also the last game, and the last game that I've been to was Wembley. So my hopes are already sky high. I'm thinking I want to go out there and smash Barnsley 7-0 today. That's another thing. For fans that didn't go today or have been for the first time, you're expecting a Wembley, well, I say a Wembley performance. It was almost like that. But you're expecting to be, you're expecting a semi-final kind of game, like in the playoff. You're expecting loads of goals, or you're expecting wins.
You're expecting a Premiership side to smash a League One side. That's what you're expecting, regardless of if you put half a team out.
Yeah.
You're
well, look at Leicester.
We should be matching a League One side, although technically they've just come down from the Championship.
But, of course, but Leicester, look at Leicester. They got beaten by Notts County, and of course their fans are going to be giving it some. But let's be honest, that's not the end of their season. People have got hope in that fan base, and Brendan Rodgers knows what he needs to do. But it's like one game, and I think we should be playing teams that have a higher standard. Yeah, of course we are. Well, we should. But I think they've saved that for the end of the preseason to get us prepared right before the game, rather than playing harder teams at the start and then playing easier games before Newcastle and then going into another challenge. I think we need challenge after challenge to get us into that rhythm.
Who would you say is the hardest, Valencia or Berlin?
Valencia. Regardless of what's going on at the club with, I know there's financial issues and a couple of players leaving, Valencia is a top Spanish team. They've got experience in lots of domestic cups and also in the league, but more importantly in European cups. And we can talk about our Champions League wins and whatever, but these guys have been playing in it more recently. They've got players in that team that are a class in their leagues and in those cups. So Valencia is the hardest game for us, but I think we'll raise the standard. And I think what Cooper's done is a couple of a few warm-up games to start with, and then he wants consistent challenges until we play Newcastle. Because if we go from a high challenge to a low challenge and then back to a high challenge, you're going to get smashed by Newcastle.
We haven't got a game this coming week until Saturday, have we? I mean, I'm not 100%. I've not looked.
I don't think we do. No.
I think this is the week to work on things and start to raise the game a little bit in terms of the fitness levels and everything. Push them a bit harder. You know what I mean?
We've got to all be realistic that this pre-season is going to be nothing where you're going to be on the edge of your seat and you're going to be going crazy for it. But you know what? You want
to see a little something though, Jay, don't you? Just to say, yeah, he's looking really good. You know what I mean? That little bit of promise.
So what Forest fans need is comforting, because I'm scared. You know what I mean? Because you come off that Wembley win and you think, right, it's great. everything's going to be great. And then it sets in like, wow, we're close to being in the Prem and we want to stay up, because if we don't, I don't want to be a club like Norwich or Fulham. You know, I don't want to be a club that potentially just stays in the Championship again. We've been out of it too long.
13th. I think we'll be fine. We've just got to kickstart and soon. That's all. Because you can't afford to have an overly bad start, can you, in the Premiership? You need to pick up at least a few points to get going, don't you?
But the fact we need to stay in the Prem makes this whole pre-season even more nervy. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think we'd be this nervy if we were, you know, a fairly established Prem team or, you know, back in the Championship. We wouldn't be that worried. If we were back in the Championship, of course we'd have a moan because we want to get up that year. But now we know we need to survive. The main worry for people is, God, are we actually going to do it? You know, is this pre-season looking? No. Pre-season over the last few seasons, there's been games where we've won some, there's been games where we've lost some. You know, and people cast judgment too quick. Look at that Newcastle game. Maybe look at the Valencia and the Union Berlin game as well, because there's going to be some tough challenges in that.
They're the ones for me.
But when you're playing 3 different squads of players, you know, sometimes mixing and matching players that have never played together before, putting on some of the academy graduates with some, you know, old timers, if you like. What do you expect? You know, and it's really tough. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm myself telling people not to judge, but I am judging it to a degree. It is hard not to.
If we'd have won all 3 of these games in a fashion, and what I mean by that is playing well, chemistry starting, two or 3 goals, which we should be getting against these teams, to be fair, no one would be battering an eyelid. No one would be worried. It's the fact that they've not even really put a performance on. And I think that's what it is. You know what I mean?
We've got Berlin
performance.
We've got Berlin on at 7 o'clock, as Patch Allen says, on Wednesday.
Oh, is it Wednesday? Is it?
I didn't know it was Wednesday. I thought it was later.
No,
I didn't. But that's at Burton. So you know, it's a big game, and I think that game is where you can kind of look and go, right.
Like
this
I
is
say, Derby beat them today, 1-0. That's Derby.
But I think we'll raise the standard to that, because people now know that we've probably kicked off. And I say it's not the easier games. It's the ones where you can afford to put out players that haven't really played before, and you can have a little mix and match and, you know, maybe lose or whatever. But it's these games where you want to be going.
Them, Jamie. Everyone will relax a little bit. You know what I mean? Everyone will go, okay. That's a bit better.
But it's also the risk that you take, because you saw Henderson come off and people are panicking. You saw Brennan Johnson nearly come off because of a horror tackle in that first half. You know, and that's what worries people.
It's a really bad tackle there.
Mate, it was a terrible tackle. I'm glad Johnson was okay, and the physios, you know, he was all right.
Like Cooper was having a go.
Fuming, because it was a terrible tackle on him. And I'm just glad he's okay, because that player went in for it. But, and as Darth Brexit has said correctly, you got to teach the new players the system. You can tell Nico Williams isn't adjusted to it yet, and he's not going to be.
Well, this is the thing. Awoniyi, he's playing in a similar system as he was for Berlin. Or I don't know if they played that way under Cooper so far, but over the course of the Championship season, what we were playing, they play a very similar in Berlin. So,
but even then, similar but worlds apart still. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
in terms of player quality, obviously.
And Steve Cooper has different expectations to that manager and different ways of coaching players. You know, at the end of the day, for Awoniyi, this is his dream league to play in. You know, he likes Nottingham Forest, clearly. You know, he's had a lot of money put on his head, and he's got to play to that standard. You know, and it's tough. You know, it's tough. And I do want to be optimistic, because I think it's going to take time for him.
Do you think fitness is an issue at the minute? Do you think it's the lack of fitness more than
what for Awoniyi?
Quality? Well, just in general, rather than the lack of quality.
I think there's an issue with fitness. I think there is an issue with fitness, considering they have just come back from a obviously extended holiday where they've probably had a lot of drinks and a lot of food and whatever, and they've
only played 3 games, haven't they? So don't forget, we overran the season as well, didn't we? So we're kind of late starting, aren't we?
You've got to also remember that some of these guys have done nationals as well. Johnson's done nationals, McKenna's done nationals, Hennessy's done nationals, Williams has done nationals, you know, and all the respective players. And obviously, you just want to see him go out and smash a team like that.
Yeah.
To put himself at ease.
You want a performance just to take the edge off things, don't you? Really?
Yeah, it's going to take time, and I'm okay with that. But as long as we can get this done in the next 3 weeks, which is what we need to do, then we'll be fine. But I think Berlin will get us off the mark, and we'll know where we stand then, because hopefully by then we've signed a midfielder or two. O'Brien will be definitely there
tomorrow. By Monday, O'Brien will be in.
And then I'd really like to see us go for Garner as quick as we can. And as Jack says, worrying about, I just don't think we should worry that much, because you want to see him smashing teams and stuff, but also you just want to see some of the younger lads getting played. And as Steve Cooper said, some of these lads that are playing now, they're going to be gone soon, either on a permanent or a loan. So I'm giving them their last chance, and I think that'll be like today.
He will know now what he wants after these 3 games, 100%. He'll know who he don't want here, who he wants to get rid of, who he wants to, roughly what he wants to bring in. Not necessarily who, but what. It depends. Are we working on a budget, or is it a bit more open than that now, given what we feel we're short? And that's the thing, isn't it?
It's just natural nerves that you get at this time of year, because everything's. I mean, I'm sweating now just thinking about it. I'm anxious for the team,
isn't it? As well, it's the expectation, the excitement. Oh, we're going into the Premier League.
It's
like I say, if it's in the Championship with a shrug of the shoulders and gone, whatever.
But this is it. You're in a new league. You want to stay up, and you think that, and every game you will take seriously. We could be playing a Saturday League team, and we could win 9-0, but you could think, well, we should have won 25-0. I'm worried. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. So, yeah, Brandon. I mean, you've mentioned Tavernier might be coming, or Tavernier might be coming in for 10 million. My heart for Lee. I don't know enough about Tavernier really to say anything. But as Owen says, though, we do need to look at players like MGW, Morgan Gibbs-White, or maybe even Morgan Gibbs-White still. We're going to have to, look, guys, I don't want to say it because I've been an advocate against it, but we're going to have to spend £30 million on a midfielder.
We can't rely on him either. We need someone who's going to back him up should he get an injury, because if you lose him, what you got then?
We need 3 new midfielders.
Exactly. So a couple of number 10s, another striker. We basically need with Yates and pretty much a new midfield, don't we? Including your attacking, in the attacking sense.
And there's no mistake, this is going to be costly as well. It's going to cost a lot of money to bring these players in. And also,
you'd probably say another 60 million, easy, 60 plus, 60 to 80 million, wouldn't you? And I know that sounds far-fetched, but when you think what the defenders we've bought in, that's cost 60 million to cover all the defence pretty much, other than Toffolo. So it'll be even slightly more. So you're probably looking in the same region if you want a bit of quality in there.
I think we just need good delivery for them attackers. For me, I think if you give Awoniyi the right delivery, and also he plays a little bit more physically, because I think he just seemed physical off the ball. He didn't really do it when he was on the ball. But I just think it's a confidence thing for me.
Yeah, but if you look at his YouTube, he does get physical on the goals he scored. You know what I mean?
That's when he's established into a team and he's got the fans and he's and he's confident.
He's hustling for the ball, so he's clearly got the strength to be able to do that, and he's a big unit. So I just think
he needs to sit forward a bit more.
He needs to sometimes. You ever thought he's dropping deep because he's been told to, because there's no one there to give him the ball. He might have been told.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
People need to look at the root of the problem, and it's the same with things in everyday life, isn't it? People, they just look at the issue rather than what actually causes the issue. And the issue with Awoniyi not getting goals, or maybe Brennan not doing as much today, that's not their fault. They need delivery. And you're not going to get that from 30-plus-year-old Colback and Cafu, who wasn't bad, but just not enough, really. But yeah, it's silly panic on friendlies. But look, I'm worried. And I'm saying this to you now, but I'm not worried about pre-season. I'm worried about us staying in that league. And for me, every signing, mentally, I don't feel like it's enough ever. Because I'm thinking, God, we need to sign so many more.
He's going to want more.
Experience this.
How many more players do you think we need? I'll go through what I think. Potentially 2, maybe 3 central midfielders, 2 number 10s, a winger, and a forward.
I'd say forward, 3 midfielders, 2 10s.
Potentially looking about 6 players, give or take, 6, 7 players. I'm not saying for 1 minute that's right or that'll happen. That's just how I kind of see it, depending on.
We've got to look at sixes as well, because Ryan Yates, he's injured now, and if we're not worrying about Ryan Yates being injured, then there's something wrong there as well, because Ryan Yates plays a massive part in breaking down play in that midfield. He obviously took a lot of inspiration off Zinkernagel, because you saw the way he broke down play at times in the latter of last season, you know. So I think we need to look at a number 6. You can't rely on Colback to do that anymore. He'll be carded every game. You know, he's a player that's been carded a lot anyway, but in the Prem, he won't do it. He'll be getting suspended all the time. Cafu, I think he brings a lot of passion, but I don't think he's a starter. I think he's the last 20.
He's got to bring on last 10 minutes to help with his energy to help kill the game a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah, and I suppose Lolly used to do that as well, but obviously he's going now. It's unfortunate, but, you know, I just wish him all the best. Because he's done a lot for our club, even in the darkest of times. You know,
can't have room for sentiment, though, can we? Unfortunately, no. I wish him all the best. I genuinely wish him all the best. I like Lawyer. It's just, I think for me, the straw that broke the camel's back was when he got injured straight away against Coventry. I think that was the point that Cooper said, this guy's just going to be forever injured.
But not just that, but, you know, the injuries before, where it's obviously impacted his form. And, you know, he did have a good first leg against Sheffield. I thought he played really well, but he couldn't keep it up. He couldn't do it consistently. And unfortunately, he won't do it in the Prem. Do I think we've got our value that we paid when we paid like 300k to Huddersfield for him? Absolutely.
$500,000, I believe.
Or $500,000. It's for the player that we got, amazing. You know, the 5-5 versus Aston Villa, the numerous goals that he's, you know, moved in from the left and had a ping and shot it and scored. All the memories were worth it. And do you know what? He's a player that was from 2-3 seasons ago, and we've had good memories with him. But now's the time to let go.
It is.
And you can't, as you said, you know, you can't go off sentiment. It's happened now. Let's just enjoy what we've got now.
Had he have been a player that doesn't suffer with the injuries that he suffers with, he could have perhaps made the step up as a squad.
I think he could have been in the squad. I think not in the first team, but squad player.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact he's just so injury prone, which is very unfortunate. It's just we can't be carrying players in the Premiership. You've got your squad numbers like 25 or whatever it is, and then that is it. You can't afford to have passengers, can you?
No. Well, and this is it. And it's not just for the fact that we can't afford to have, you know, passengers. It's also literally you can't afford to have passengers wage-wise, because some of these guys are taking big money. Harry Arter, we need to get rid of him.
Andy Costa, get the Costa off the books. He's got to be one of the worst signings ever.
Costa, Harry Arter, and I don't like to say it because Lyle Taylor played well today and he's a nice guy, but sentiment again. Nice. Lyle Taylor, I think he deserves more game time. It's not just about
the Championship club should snap him up.
He could do it at a decent Championship. Look at what he did for Birmingham, a team that's underperformed, has a lot of problems with its ownership. He deserves some time for a club. It won't be Birmingham, but it will be a decent.
He'll probably go wherever Bowyer goes.
If Bowyer, well, yeah, but I think he deserves top 10 football in the Championship. I just think he couldn't get off the mark for us, and I think again that's a confidence issue for him. I just don't think it was the right. Look at him in that Huddersfield game, amazing passion, but you know what? He didn't really get the chance to do it consistently, I suppose. But football with KB, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Nice picture of you at Wembley. There. Zande Silva. Now, before we go there, I'm going to give it.
Dijon, is it?
Is that where he's going? Oh, yeah, there was room.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, but I think it was Aris as well that he was being linked with before, but Dijon is the owner's Warren has said.
Yeah.
You know what? I think do you remember there was a shot? I can't remember what game it might have even been the Barnsley game. I don't know, but he was very close to getting a goal and it just smashed against the right hand post.
He missed some sitters. He did it against Middlesbrough Boxing Day. I was there.
But do you not think maybe if he had got off the mark, he could have been semi-decent?
But he did one good thing, and that was that ball across goal. That cross he played in was a fantastic cross, and it got pace, but he just does nothing with it. It's in one respect a bit like Zinc. It's like there's no end product. You know what I mean? The potential's there. But I can't help but think they've had a pants down. Same with Da Costa, same with Arta.
But this is it.
That's a great thing, isn't it?
This is bad recruitment, and this is recruitment from the past coming back to bite us. Harry Arta's still on contract.
Now we're shipping the bad recruitment out, aren't we? That's what we're doing.
And I'm glad. And I think people need to have more faith, because Forest haven't just bought a £17.5 million striker because they can.
They haven't bought him on the whim, have they? He's got to have something. He's got to.
Absolutely. And Ez, by the way, correct with this. Yeah. KB, come on, mate. Put your link down in the comments. Come on. Where are we going, lads, next week, says Dor. Come on, let's bring it on a positive note. We are going to Berlin.
We're going to try some German beer, aren't we, Jeff?
That's what we're doing. And apparently there's a Forest match over there as well. So we managed to get tickets. Do you know what, Lee? I haven't printed off the tickets, actually.
This time.
You don't even try that, because you remember that day when I was trying to navigate that German website. Oh, but there are abbreviations for certain words, like address is PLS. And I'm like, how is that even close?
Yeah, you think they'd give you an option to change for English for anyone who's English who wants to buy tickets. But you got there.
We got there, didn't we? I mean, good prices for tickets.
Just got to print them off, job done.
Like €14 it was. But I mean, if only I was on Arta's wages, because I'd be going Germany every day. I would, just for the culture.
Do you know what? He might as well join in with all the other oldies, Arta.
I say, come with us, Arta. Bring some money.
They can't afford Arta's wages, could they?
No.
I wonder if he's had a pay rise with us going to the Premiership. Can you imagine?
Oh, God.
That'd really kick in the balls, wouldn't it?
You imagine him getting a man of the match against Man City or something like that. Absolutely body and arm and getting a hat trick.
No, I just can't. I can't imagine it at all.
But players like that, unfortunately, I don't like to say this about any players, but just get them out, get rid completely. I don't like him.
On his contract till it's out though. Like I thought, Da Costa's contract was supposed to be up, but I don't know if he's got another season, which is depressing. If so.
Do you know what? I think Hertha will be a massive test. I think it will show to what standard we can play at, because I think we lowered our standard to Barnsley.
Or what we're lacking, where we're lacking. Yeah.
Oh no! It will show what we're lacking. I think today it's hard to judge because of the conditions. Like, can't say anything about the pitch because it was immaculate.
Again, we had half a team, didn't we? We had half a team, so it's
half a team. Mixed teams of experience and non-experience, and also the heat was really, really crazy. But and good to hear from you, my friend. It's Hertha on Wednesday, then Union. Yeah. So I'm not going to read some of them comments out about German sausages. I think I know what you're getting at there, lads.
No, not for me. I don't like them.
Well, you don't like bratwurst or anything like that?
Oh no, I like a fry up. I bought some German sausages once from there's a guy on the internet. He's called the German Sausage Man, and I just hated them all. I proper wasted my money. So when I'm over there, I will not be eating those at all. I just didn't like them. Yeah, I didn't like them. Now normal proper sausages I like, not your Frankfurter types and all them. Horrible.
Look at this, guys. You thought you were getting Forest content, but we're talking about the finest of German cuisine. You get everything. You get Ez singing. We get German cuisine. Oh, you get everything. And I just want to say, we're going to approach the last couple of minutes. So any questions you have, just send them in.
Let's have a look at some comments, NJ. How people are feeling regarding pre-season and.
Oh, he's asking questions. Not even the skinless sausages. Come.
No, they've got weird skins on them.
Oh, and John Rondo, I know what you're saying, my friend. I'm not even going to put that on.
Is it the same guy again?
Oh, for various reasons, I can't put this on the stream because it is a kid-friendly stream. Well, we tried to keep it like that until David Poole was on the last stream. I love David, but that was a controversial one. That was, and it's fair to say we had some good talks whilst he was in his coal shed, as Warren was saying. Vrentos was awful.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Vrentos era.
It was. I'm glad he's removed.
Yeah, it was almost like Fowler's recruitment. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting to think he was just buying play. And me and Ez were talking about it. Like, Billy Davies unhappy because the club were just buying players that they liked or even knew at times. You know, Jamel Abdoun. I mean, nothing against Jamel Abdoun, but Billy Davies
a lot came through. Oh no, that was the bread man, weren't it? A lot came through his daughter's agency or something. All these Scottish players and stuff. That's right. That was Warburton, wasn't it?
Is that how we got Chris Burke then? You remember years ago?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Is Vrensos still around at the club? So what's Vrensos' role now then?
Oh, Forest though, is he? He's at Olympiacos again, isn't he?
Ah, I see.
Guy's dangerous. That's all I'm saying. He's dangerous.
Seems to be doing all right, bringing in all our old players at the moment. He's kind of done a reverse of what he did for us, isn't he?
I don't think he has much to do with us though anymore. He's in Forest.
I hope Marinakis has just told him to do one from Forest, because he almost ruined our club. Close. I think we can blame Chris Hughton as well. But let's be honest, you know, there's a lot of factors as well as the manager to take into it. And Chris is a big part to blame for that. But also, you got to look at people like Vrensos that ruined it. But yeah, and
Miltiadis the drain, wasn't there?
Oh, absolutely. And John Rondo's right here. Miltiadis Marinakis is
He's doing a good job, to be fair to him. And I'll hold my hands up now, because I was never the biggest fan of Marinakis, because I wasn't sure what his intentions were. And in the past, I've kind of criticised him a bit, but I can hold my hands up when I'm wrong. He's doing a good job at this moment in time, like the boss Marinakis, Mr. Marinakis. I weren't sure about him, but now he seems to be like back in Forest, and I always thought his love was just Olympiacos and we were just a business decision, which technically we are. But
I think
it shows that he cares a bit. He does care a bit more than what I thought.
I think his son seems to be kind of. I think the dad's the executive owner, isn't he? And then the son seems to be kind of running Forest and doing a lot for them. So I've got a lot of time for Miltiadis. I think he's really good. I think he's he's young as well. He's got a lot of time to learn things. I'm sure his dad will be teaching him. Maybe a good idea to have some harder games. I think they're doing the harder games before Newcastle, just before. I think to keep them in that stride of challenges. That's why I think they're doing it. And I think
it would be a shock otherwise, wouldn't it? The level.
Why? Because why would you want the harder games to start with and then easy games, only to go back to a harder game at Newcastle and get smashed?
I'm going to say something not so nice, but I'd get rid of the Notts County game and I'd put a better team in there to play.
I agree.
I think
with that we don't need sentiment as well.
I think we're doing it just to be kind to Notts County, to be fair, because we're using their pitch or whatever.
We need to get rid of that. I like Notts County as a club. I've got nothing against them, but it's about time that we need to go into that. Yeah, we need to prepare, and we should really be having a game against another Premier League side, maybe, or another European side,
or another big club in Europe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the door says Vrensos was at Wembley, and Nick says that he's a non-executive director, so still he's just not really.
Just no day-to-day activity, right?
Yeah.
The way he's toxic.
Well, absolutely, yeah. But Olympiacos will be his hobby now, I suppose. Yeah. I think probably Marinakis.
That's how I felt Forest used to be under him, but now the tide's turned a little bit, like you say.
But this is it, though, isn't it? It's like he bought the club in 2017. 5 years in terms of owning a club. Not really that long. To achieve something that has taken 23 years to try and achieve. You know, he's done a lot for the club. But I think the more important thing is he's recognised the mistakes that he and other administrations have made. And he's gone, do you know what? I've made this mistake. It's not irreversible. So let's act on it now. Okay, my pockets are going to be a bit lighter, but that's how it goes.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm gonna call it the last couple of minutes. I said that earlier, didn't I? It's going to be the last couple of minutes. I'm really tired now. I'm on a down from that coffee now, and I've got no energy. But it's great to have some of you in. And just remember, this video is sponsored by Fastlane. No, it's not. It's sponsored by Remedy Beast. So if you're interested, let me know, and I'll give you a discount code. It's a really good company, and they provide really high quality CBD products that I myself will be using to help deal with my hip flexor issues. So recommend using them. Good company. And also subscribe if you haven't already, because we're close to 780. I was expecting a bit of a quieter stream tonight, but you've beat my expectation. So thank you all. But Lee, any kind of last notes that you want to make before we kind of crash out of the stream?
Not really. I suppose we've just got to try and stay positive. We've got to trust Cooper. He's got us this far. I do trust Cooper. I think he might even be slightly frustrated with how pre-season's gone, but he's not going to come out and say that, is it?
He said he was
a clever guy.
He said he was frustrated after the Swansea game, and we beat them.
He's not going to go, "Oh, we've been crap, we're rubbish." Like he's not going to do that. But I think Wednesday, we'll start picking it up, and hopefully we'll see a bit more first team players in, a bit more of a performance. I hope.
I agree, and I think Brian should be coming in very soon. So let's just see how it goes. I think there'll be another 20 million spent by the time we play Berlin on Wednesday, and at minimum 10 million for O'Brien. So let's see how it goes. Let's all keep the faith. Keep the faith in Cooper. It's only pre-season, I know. Let's just get ready for Wednesday for the challenge. And it's all on the up from there. And me, Dor, and Meg Man will be off to Germany. And I'll be vlogging it. And also, don't forget, on Monday at 12:30 in the afternoon, I'm going to be releasing my matchday vlog from Barnsley. I've been testing out my GoPro. It's the first time I've used it, so do be kind to me with the editing because I'm going to try my best, but it is brand new to me. So I'm not quite adjusted to it because I used to use my camera, but this GoPro is amazing, but I'm not up to that tech savvy. So give me a chance. But that'll be coming out on Monday. And yeah, so have a great day, everybody, or a great night, or, go to bed.
Have a nice sleep.
Have a nice sleep because you deserve it. And you deserve a sleep as well, mate. Because it's been a tough time. So, it's been great to have you all join me. Lee, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Let's do it again soon. And thank you so much for joining. Warren as well.
Yes, guys.
Jay, be kind to me with the editing. Come on. And Ben, thank you so much. Eve as well. Honestly, guys, it's been amazing to have you all on. And as I say, me, Dor, Billy, and Lee, and Phil also, who I know was on the stream earlier, will also be going to Germany. So, going to be amazing. Appreciate you all joining. Don't forget to subscribe and have a great evening. Get some sleep. And we'll be back tomorrow night. So, cheers, guys.